Bonsoir and good evening, welcome here. And as you can see, we are like 4 cup with a 3 victory, and we try to reach at least the 3rd cup and play, yeah, us. And I think some troubles with my mouse, but that seems to be okay. So yeah, let's go. And we begin with, say, Han. And I go for inner elephant, since it works. So we are 2061 elo against 1800 elo, so that should be okay, and he played like tons of games. Alright, so let's go, and he decides to begin, so he went for side elephant and he decided to go with this pawn, whereas it's more popular to go with that pawn, because whatever, I won't play this pawn here because of this elephant, and since the situation is not symmetrical, I don't need to be afraid of opening this file. Okay, so he may not take, otherwise that's pawn check, but he can claim back the column, and then he decides to go for a configuration with the elephant in the center, which is called Myo-san. I think Myo means middle in Korean, and San is for elephants. Okay, and now like freeing the cannon so that we can achieve some business. Knight takes, pawn takes, cannon takes, threatening the rook, knight comes back, and that's even in terms of points, and that's okay in terms of position, so I don't mind if he takes, because that's a knight that played a lot of moves against potentially simply a pawn, so I would accept that without any troubles. Okay, bringing some pressure, so because the king is in this position, and at the same time leaving some pressure that was on my elephants because of his cannon's position. I go for the knight here. The idea is to protect this pawn and also to prevent the cannon from putting some pressure. So since now this pawn is protected, I can push this one. And try to get rid of the knight, because the knight is kind of already blocked a lot by the elephant, by the pawns. And so I may break the pawn. The knight has like 2 squares, and if I push, takes, I take, pawn goes to the center. Okay, is there something else we could try here? No, I think I will go for this. I may have a weak center because he will have a lot of pawns, but I will be able to... Oh, okay. Take, so he may go back to this side actually, or bring the cannon. I'll see. Yeah, he goes for the cannon. mobility left. Knight does the job. Okay. Here is a safe square because there's no knight that may threaten the rook. There's no elephant that can simply reach that square, and it will keep some pressure here. So mind that this knight here is threatened. Alright, since there's no cannon in the middle, there's no like big risk to be threatened, and at the same time the knight won't be able to come back since the cannon is spinning. Because that rook has not so many squares, so knight would have reached here that may have been some troubles. Okay, the idea is to recycle this cannon that was not playing at all until then. I could go for taking that file. I could have go back to the center. Here you can notice that this pawn is not protected, but if rook takes, then cannon check, and that kind of falls. Cannon check, it's not working. Yeah, I was expecting this to come. So two squares basically. This one is controlled by the cannon. I have to check that I won't kind of trap my own rook. Okay, I prefer this one, and the problem may arrive when the elephant will reach the middle, but for now that's not a big deal. The knights are blocked by the pawn. Hello! And this is still pinned. So yeah, the next idea is to bring the knight here, but that's not a huge deal. We'll simply come back here, and the simple difference is that we managed to get this file for our rook. And we may, I don't know, bring some pressure here. So we simply come back and he still cannot block our rook with that knight because that cannon is providing a very good support and pinning. So he comes back, he may want to bring back the pawn, but the only thing he's achieving is like losing tempo over tempos. So I will play it safely. Simply hide the king. I hope he goes for the pawn. If I can get a tempo every time. The guys in the chat are having some private joke. So simply back here, and if he goes back there, he loses again a tempo. So he has no clear plan of what to do. Yeah, his king is kind of safe, but he's a bit stuck like this. And what could he try to get out from this? At some point he could have tried to, I don't know, bring the cannon here. Or... Alright. Maybe he's watching the stream, I don't know. That's a bit annoying because I will have to move this knight, and that's not really what I would have loved to. So I may go for a protection with the rook, but the problem is that I cannot bring back the cannon. If the cannon was not here before, I may have kind of a fork by bringing the elephant, because the pawn and the knight are pinned, so that would have been nice. And right now he's giving space for the cannon to dig in. But I can try something like cannon takes, rook takes, and rook here. Okay, I'll go for this. That's kind of breaking the pressure. And we get that extra elephant. Because if the rook comes back to defend, then the cannon is lost. The cannon cannot take the knight, and we already have kind of nice activated pieces, and the elephant may jump quickly in the game, so we simply need to finish the defense. And we are heading toward a kind of asymmetric end, because that's two cannons for knights. Okay, he cannot go here because we have the elephant, and at some point this pawn will be weak. But before that, let's simply take the elephant, and that's also pinning this cannon. For now there's no... Okay. No specific purpose.
10초 남았습니다.
Okay, I don't really like this move because my rook has not so much squares, but at the same time that's also closing his own rook. No, I won't reach 9 dan tonight. There's like, that needs still like 100 of wins, not 100 of games, but 100 of wins, so I'm sorry, but that's not on the spot. That's too long to achieve. Okay, so as you can see, the knight blocks the rook, as I said before. So that may give us some ideas, like bringing this cannon to that place, because in this situation we may be able to gain some material or kind of pin the enemy. Okay, let's just pretend I want to take the center to bring some pressure, but my real idea is to trap the rook here. If he moves like somewhere to avoid, still that's a good square. This is of course not to forget and consider. For example, if I defend like this, that would have been like directly checkmate. And boom, let's go for the trap. And that will be also using the elephant. So he may go back with the knight, but the counterpart is that elephant takes, and a rook here, and that's a lot of material hanging. Can take, I don't really care. If he goes to protect with the rook, I can simply take the knight, and that's a knight for an elephant. And a pawn. So +4 for us, and if he does nothing, I'll simply take, and this is still pinned. So here, very hard to defend, and as you can see, he only has cannon, and they are not really good. Like, this cannon has 0 squares, completely free file, completely free row, and the rook here cannot like jump so quickly in the play. The defense will of course be assured by a guard when it will be necessary. The knight may jump. Yeah, this cannon is weak, but it's already defended one and can be quickly defended. I could use that to pin, but still there is already enough to get. So I will simply get some time to avoid losing because of the clock, like last week. And now the question is it better to go with the cannon or the rook? I go with the rook, that's safer. Okay, the road to finish that game will should have 04, 6-4. But that, if the cannon went there, that would not prevent rook takes elephant. And after rook takes, because there's nothing to jump once the cannon is here. Those are like weird moves. I mean, he bring the guard here to allow the jump, but he lost the diagonal jump, and right now he goes for jumping like that. Okay, that will take time to finish because I have to center the pawn and break that strong structure. But we are in a better position. Simply need to be careful if like cannons could go here and check and other combination with the rook. For unexpected reason, he didn't took the file. He had the cannon. It could have bring, and it's not in his interest to go exchange the rook, because that will be very hard to play only with the two remaining cannons. So yeah, better bring some pressure here. That the cannon here in 64 before does not protect the horse, because when rook takes elephant, if rook takes horse at the next move, then the cannon can't take back. So that was not a working defense for him. Okay, I'm also paying attention to the squares that the elephant may threaten, but yeah, I take that without hesitation. If he takes with the rook, I simply develop this one. That's protected, that's protected, that's protecting. Yeah, I guess that's that's too late what you wrote. So he goes for the corner. I think that may have been better squares, because I won't be pushing this directly. Better to do nope. That's giving a pawn. Okay, take some space. Idea could be pushing those two pawns, but better than that, bringing this pawn here and this pawn, because once the elephant goes here, it may threaten the knight. So if there is a pawn here, that will break everything. A trap I need to pay attention. For example, it's if the rook manages to go here and check. In those cases, there is only one move, that's bringing the guard, and if the cannon is protecting, then rook takes checkmate. That's a classic pattern. Ah, it's annoying. Okay, I have to wait some tempos. I would like to bring the pawns to the center, but I have to block the elephant. But still, if I gain space, I can simply exchange, and when there is only one pawn remaining in the center, there's nothing he can do. Okay, that may be to bring the cannon in that spot or that spot. But whatever, this is a solid structure, everything is protecting. And the rook has no file to reach those squares to check. So we are kind of safe for now. Actually the rook has not so much squares in that file. And I may use this. So he has to go kind of here if he wants to stay on that row. Otherwise, he will be like losing a lot of influence with this rook. Because I will be able to push. I don't know, there's some lags in Kakao Janggi, but yeah. Okay. I'm trying to see what Canon here may do, because I think that was a better move for him just before to threaten my knight. So we are a knight and a pawn ahead, which is a lot. I'm not sure that's enough to checkmate, but to win on Kakao Janggi, that's clearly enough. Okay. The idea maybe to bring the rook to the other side, but also to give some support to the knight and to prevent, if he attacked the elephant, to kind of free the knight because the rook also defends. Bonsoir, good evening. So that's still the first game of the evening, since you are winning directly. And yeah, as I said before, see, like that's a huge lag. I don't know, maybe that's from the Kakao servers. Still, the cannon cannot check here. Even if we had the rook, that would have been okay. And now, he has nothing to do. Yeah, there's definitely something laggy, so I have to be careful with the timing. I will simply push those two pawns, bring back the rook, and claim that. Oops. Oh, and I forgot this. That's kind of annoying because those two linked pawns gave an easy defense. Okay, he may go for pawn here. Yeah, not great. It's not so easy to stay focused in boring endgames like this, but that's necessary to secure the win. Okay, so we push because my knight requires the rook to be defended. I almost brought back the elephant here, but that would have been like made for him. But I'm losing something else. Okay. Yeah, 48, 68, 58 is the move to protect, but maybe we'll push, and those pawns are like not great for now. And this cannon is like doing nothing. Okay. I have to be careful that the cannon doesn't reach this file, this row, otherwise that's a beautiful checkmate.
남았습니다.
Cannon check likely. And I cannot bring the guard, otherwise the pawns simply go here. So if cannon check, I simply come back, and that's okay. Yeah, but since the rook and the cannon can bring big threats, I don't want to bring back the cannon because I want to have a safe square for my king if thing goes bad. And still I will be able to use my rook and jump back wherever I want. And the middle is quite safe if the cannon here is dealt with carefully. Okay, the good news is that his structure is now a bit messed up, but I don't find a way to grab a pawn, and that's quickly fixed.
남았습니다.
The elephant covers the knight. So we go for bringing... Ooh! That was a very bad move. No, sorry, this is the pig that we want. I will add noise to that pig at some point. And right now there's nothing left for blue. Cannon takes, pushing the pawn, and that's over. Okay, I'm glad that this game doesn't last too long, because that would have taken some time to finish it properly. And that's it for the first win. So we could use the pressure we had the right side and use the cannon for trapping the knight. Getting this. The connection is okay. I have no idea what there is some like specific lags. So yeah. And I went for a right elephant, and right now I'm standing against a center elephant. Thanks for a good game. It was, yeah, an interesting game. Right, claiming the file, linking the pawns, and bringing the rook to the center. Yeah, I don't know what they like there is for seconds, but I'm not sure that's from my connection the problems, because the stream is okay. I don't, there's no notification of bad pings or slow bandwidth. So I just assume that I don't need to play last second moves, and that should be safe. So here the double threat, and the rook is in cover, so he may defend with something, but we may try the same after to the other side. Sorry, I was not expecting this. Yeah. So I think if I took, he would have brought the rook here, and right now, as you can see, his rook is kind of more closed. So this is defended by the knight and the rook, and right now we'll simply bring back the elephant, and that's threatening a few pieces, and we may have some interest here. Okay, so there is a free elephant, but maybe that's not so free. Takes the threat, of course, is knight here, elephant, and if the cannon goes there, then we simply bring back the rook, and the knight is hanging. Yeah. We will have definitely some counterplay on the right side, but I think I'm fine to hold this. And I'm simply thinking about sacrificing the knight for the king, for the cannon. or oh 07 97 check. I don't want to check right now, but I of course keep that in my head for later. Okay, I'm not sure how long this elephant will survive. Okay, and now and was not playing and is back. So bringing the guard is of course not possible. That leaves two moves. This move that is quite dangerous, but yeah, maybe this was the best move because the risk is a rook to this square, and in that case it would be a defense. But the question is, will the split be able to be done in time? And that's very thankful that we are able to bring this, because if we move the elephant then the knight is covered. $45-22. I like this elephant in the center that may check at some point. If rook here, there was a small trap that was pushing the pawn that would have double threat. So he has to give up the control here. I could try to take, but the risk is cannon take, and then I lose with the knight, and I don't want to lose my middle cannon. Okay, he should have gone for this. Because now the elephant will be able to join the party. Okay, that was expected. So this knight will have a very defensive role, I think, for a long time, but it works. 1944, not yet, not yet. Okay, we check, but that's not really interesting, since he may want to bring his king there in order to yeah, whatever, so that would have simply losing a tempo for me. But there is a nice in. I missed the fact that if I take with this rook, then the cannon takes. So, not yet. I will simply move here and take with this one. The knight is not protected, so if the cannon goes here, then I can simply take. There is a fork. We cannot use the pawn there, so we take. Yeah. And the elephant. Okay, but that's a nice gift. Ooh, when there is like so much threats. That's checkmate in 2. No, that's not checkmate in 2. He has a way to stop it. Okay, that's checkmate in 1. Not so hard to find since this is covering, we have the cannon, we have the other rook, so we can simply, simply take this one. And without the elephant checking, we had the same idea using the cannon. So the checkmate in 1 was to take with this rook, but I want to show you that the cannon was already doing enough. Actually, in this position, the only way to prevent at short term the checkmate is to move this pawn, because that's breaking the support of the cannon and also preventing the elephant from check. But the continuation to this is probably cannon takes pawn, guard, and cannon takes back, so there's no hope. And I think, yeah, elephant here was a mistake. Should have go for. Well, here that's difficult to play for blue here, because the cannon and the rook are not so much cooperating, even if it seems the best maybe to try things and sacrifice, but that's not so easy because the knight is also defending the cannon. And in those situations, an idea sometimes is also to be able to bring a cannon to. Okay, looks like my streaming software just crashed. So I had to reboot, and I think, yeah, everything's good, back on track. Okay, no, my OBS just crashed. No reason I can tell, but yeah. Okay, it's back, and we are again with Han. And I go again for inner elephants. What do we have? Player that hasn't played so much, and he's like almost 1900. And we are close to 2100. So what Jazzy is writing in the chat when I begin a game is the name in Korean of the situation. So that's like, I think that's inner song, side song against inner song. Okay, see you. No, I'm going with this one. Okay, elephant threaten the weak pawn. It's kind of annoying, but I try. Yeah, so Quima stands for outer, but no, side. I don't know. I tried, okay, I pronounced that, so that's Quima versus one Alma. That's probably awfully bad pronunciation, but yeah. I think I completely messed up the opening. Okay, that will be a weird game, because he will bring the rook and I will bring the knight directly to the center. And now let's check to neutralize this elephant. Yeah, I don't speak Polish, but that kind of makes sense. My Korean is not good, but it's already rusty. Okay, and that's to kill the knight, of course. Such a weird game. It would be a shame if we actually can like trap a rook, because it's not a great beginning. And of course, if the rook goes here, the way to defend is to bring back the cannon. The situation would have been like deadly if the cannon structure was the opposite, and if, for example, there was a cannon aiming here. But of course, I would have played differently before. But just to say, a rook well covered in the opposite side can cooperate very well with a cannon when the guard are split and when the knight is like kind of messed up for defending. So you have a small discovery threat. If the cannon moves, then the knight threatens the rook, sorry. But at the same time, he may have some attacks also. If this cannon is out of play, then he may use some weakness here. Maybe no, that's not great. So yeah, we hold in a good position here. So that's preventing the cannon from taking a pawn if there is a discovery on the rook. And at the same time, you will be able to do some repositioning to, for example, this row, sorry. Okay, so that's setting a nasty trap to win a rook. And at the same time, if for example he don't threaten the cannon, then I simply can recycle this cannon. And I'm not so afraid by attacks from this cannon to that side. The problem that this cannon will be out of position because he has not enough material to finish an attack or gain something with that, and he will have a lot of troubles after that. So he did avoid nothing. So can you find why this is a bad move? Give you a few seconds to see why this was a piggy move. $32.52. Yes, the knight may threaten these squares if the cannon is out, and the cannon now threatens everything on that file, so the rook is dead, and the cannon cannot be used since this is a cannon. So when the rook is deep in the opponent's side, careful about still thinking about mobility to leave. He should have gone for this square, I think. He was probably expecting me to go here, but I don't have real interest to go here because that would lock my own file. And yeah, of course the best is to trade the rook for the knight. Okay, 44-43. Yeah, that could have been the other choice, but I was a bit worried about elephant takes, and after the cannon is with 0 mobility, the knight can quickly come in. So I prefer to secure the squares of the cannon. Of course, that rook may be in a dangerous situation if it was threatened by a cannon, but for now that's okay. It's a bit annoying that this knight is threatened. Okay. So I'm actually giving this file, not completely, but I'm losing mobility. But I may decide to go with the rook to this side. Now we are back. Okay, the idea is to use that diagonal because this cannon in here, so I think... Oh. So that's to fork after that. I won't take because I need this cannon in the middle. Okay, taking the file, that's quite natural. And I was thinking about this move, but the cannon right now is able to go back here. Alright, since the cannon is out, now he has to pay attention to this elephant. So, cannon takes, knight takes. Yeah. We play with one cannon only. Probably not the safest move, but that brings some interest in the game. So knight take, rook here to threaten both, probably knight go back to defend the elephant, but after that rook to this square, threatening both, and this can't be defended. Or he can deny this.
(10초) 남았습니다.
There is still this move that I cannot directly play. Alright. This is protected, and now this is under threat. Okay, now I think that's the time to play it. Because this is threatened, I cannot go to the very last, so he has to go for one of those two squares. If he goes for this one, he's a bit locked, and if he goes for this one, I will be locking. And trying to finish and trap the cannon with the rook. Now I may recycle the cannon at some point. Check is not possible. And I will buy extra time just because psychologically it helps also, and it may give the opponent the yeah, he may want to resign, but he actually did the same right now. He bought some time, so I will do the same straight when it's my turn to play. And see, he's looking for a way to go back. I can rook goes into play, so no. 45, 73. Here. Not sure that was spinning the cannon. Still, there is a lot to calculate because of these elephants. But in the end, that should be okay. We have the rook and the elephant, so this is secured, and yeah, this is a bit annoying. There's a small fork here that may kind of directly win the game. And that's not so easy to prevent. He probably has to go for bringing the rook. Okay, but now this cannon is a bit weak. I can check, yeah. Sorry, I will buy time as I said.
10초 남았습니다.
Okay, that took like 6 seconds. So elephant check, what's the idea? If the king comes back, then fork. If the guard goes here, then rook check. And when rook check, he has to go to the middle and we can do the fork. Maybe another way to see it is to bring the knight here already, so that he will want to take, and after that we'll have checkmating. The same idea, but reverse the order and you may get a better result. And of course, when elephant check, he cannot bring the cannon because he is pinned, so only one move and rook checkmate. And that's it for this game. The beginning was a bit awkward. Like, I think that maybe I think that was this elephant to play. So this pawn was a bit isolated, and the only way to get some space was to force the knight to play. I could go here, but that's south side. And at some point, yeah, he did make this mistake, and then you can't recover from this because there's not so much counterplay. Alright, we are very close to the third cup right now. And we are again with Han. Okay, and I go for side elephant again. I think we are with Han every time because there is a huge elo gap, as you can see, like 1700 against close to 2100, and I'm not sure, but I think that's the lowest elo that is more likely to begin with Cho, with the blue. So let's go, that's one and Ma against Quima. Thanks. And how do you say it if blue went for side elephant and red goes for same side elephant? If the elephant were all in this situation, how do you call this? Yep, sorry, I have to check. Okay, that's why we Yang Kuima. Okay, I'll try something. Let's play aggressive on that rook, so that may force the exchange at some point. So that's pushing a lot the pawns with red, which is not advised every time, because you already have the advantage in terms of points, so you simply need two opponent to attack you. But let's try this, that provides fun games. Okay, I want to try something. So here that's okay, 2 defense, and there was an intermediate move. If we took with the elephant, the best move was not to take back with the pawn, but to check with the rook. What about this? Yep. So we did grab an extra pawn, and we have an active rook, and we have yeah, a better position clearly. That's quite natural, he wants to open on his side. But I will ignore that, and I play the elephant so that I'm preventing him to go here. Okay, let's play it this way. Kind of funny move. Forced cannon here, and now we have elephant check, and the pawn will be dead. The idea of bringing the rook here is to prevent the elephant from reaching that square, and therefore we may be able to check with the cannon. Okay, he has not enough material to attack, so we will be able to defend, but let's play it properly, because this elephant can join the battle. If we go with the guard, there's the risk of cannon sacrifice at some point, but we are not forced to take back. Okay, let's play it this way. That's ambitious. Okay, that's for removing the knight. Once the knight is removed, the cannon can take, and then the cannon can check to the other side. So we don't have so much time.
10초 남았습니다.
Yeah, but okay. I'm not sure that was a good idea to ignore that for him.
(10초) 남았습니다.
So rook check is not working at all. That's giving a rook. $25.34. Rook takes squad. I think I prefer it this way. Oh, I missed that I could take the elephant. Ah. Still, that should be okay because we have this guy. No. Check. It's a weird game. Check, I can go back here, and after that I can go back there, but we lost the great square of the elephant. Right. Check, there's only one move. And we have a checkmate here if he does nothing. So that's... that was a bad move. So, can you find the checkmate in one move? Yes. There's a cannon in the middle of the fortress. We see in the puzzles that often it's very bad, so we basically want to control this file, and we can do that simply by bringing the rook up, because the rook was used to cover the check from the elephant. So the situation was looking bad, but like that's also an awful situation, especially when an elephant can control those two squares. Probably, I think I was still in a better position. Okay, at this moment you suggested to bring the knight here, so that's kind of giving in everything of what's happening to this side. For example, if he takes, I take, because otherwise take the cannon. So that's again giving a cannon, but here that's a very hard situation to defend, because the elephant moves and then that's check, and then that's check in diagonal, and then the rook goes to the center and that's checkmate. The rook cannot do anything because that's checked, so the thing to do is to use the knight and try to gain something, but that's losing this cannon. So no, maybe the best was this, because here the cannon is protected, so red should go for check. The move is forced, and the small issue for red is that we cannot activate this elephant, so check again. Two ideas. Here probably threaten the knight. That would have been also an interesting game, because red has not so much material lead, but he has like 0 attack, since the fortress is empty. There's no way to bring the cannon here, and the rook alone is not doing anything. So with the great elephants, previous 22-29. You mean 22-92? Yeah, that could be a way to cover it. Yep, no. Well, but that was a fun game, and I see. Okay, just show to people. Takes, and here there is something. Take check, goes here, and that seems to be safe for blue, for red, yeah. The elephant here won't achieve so much. So yeah, here red was winning. Alright, so we reached the third cup, and I think I will play like one more. And finally, no, he resigned, but we were with Cho. Okay, I guess that's the same guy. I will wait a few seconds because he doesn't want to play us. And we'll be again with Han in that case. And let's go again for inner elephant against side elephant. Check. bringing the knight. That has nice squares to go, and also provides a good protection, for example when the pawn will be pushed, and if the rooks or the elephant wants to attack this pawn, then simply push and it's well covered by the knight. And yeah, that's Quima against one hammer. Okay. Sooner or later we will have this pressure square covered by our knight. And as we said before, if an elephant goes an attack, then we come back. What's important to pay attention is that this elephant may threaten, so if we bring the king back to defend, then we may have some troubles. No. I don't want the rook to be able to swap and attack from that side with the other one, so I'm closing and also kind of keeping this safe. Okay. So here I will be forcing the knight to go to the center of the fortress. And I gave a pawn against this, so that's really a positional advantage against a material advantage. And okay, I think he was about to bring the king back because here the knight is trapped. So pawn here, cannon, and then the rook is all in the play. Looks like that's the only solution. problem is that we lost a lot of protection we had on this knight. Still there is the elephant, but he is likely to play this move, I would say. Whoa, and that was also unexpected. What if we bring the cannon to this spot? Alright, so we bring the guard, he may go for the elephant, we bring the cannon here so that this cannon is pinned, and he may bring the knight, we bring back the knight, and then we check, and after that we gain the knight. And if nothing happens, we will be able to safely retreat the king. And get again the protection to the center. But right now he's... Oh. Okay, I haven't really considered this. Seems to be the only move to play. The elephant. Oh. But there is still a guard here. I don't know, that's a really weird move. Because even if he brings the guard here, my rook is not dead and can go... No, I can take this. I think he threw the game. And I should have not taken this, I should have go for rook takes knight check. And that was completely hopeless. Still he's dead because did he threaten? Yeah, he threw the game. So what was better to play at this point for him? So I show you just what happens if, for example, he wants to gain the elephant. Then the cannon goes here, and the threat is that if he does nothing, I don't know, this, then we can take the knight because the cannon here is pinned. So he has to react to this. If he goes back, simply take the knight, and maybe the best way to react is to bring the knight so that this is not pinned anymore, and that's a threat. Ah, I haven't calculated that as a playing with red. Okay. But when the cannon comes back, then this will gain a lot of play, and the knight. That's complicated play. But I think that was a good idea to sacrifice the pawn for playing on this knight. And yeah, of course that was the best square, because in this case then elephant check. If the guard comes, then rook takes, and otherwise the only move is to go with the knight. But here rook here, and it's the only way to defend, and that's kind of not great for for red. Oh, and there is a yeah, and when there is elephant check, the rook is over. Yeah, I saw that in the game, but I forgot in the analysis that I was prevented from going to a place where the elephant could check because of the discovery. Alright, and I think I will stop there for tonight. So close to 2100 ELO, third cup, and only already one victory for the next league, and maybe next week we'll reach the second cup, and that's closer and closer to the Dan points. Alright, hope you enjoyed, and tomorrow tomorrow we'll be playing puzzles at 5 PM, so hope to meet you there also. See you then. Bye.